The sky over the Xylar capital was a strange mix of colors, violet streaks slicing through a greenish haze, casting eerie shadows over the city's towering spires. Captain Aaron Vale stood on the edge of a massive platform, the wind from the alien planet whipping at his uniform. He could feel the weight of the moment, the culmination of years of planning, battles, and survival. Humanity had reached for the stars, and now, for the first time, a human was facing the leader of an alien civilization alone. Thyrex, the Xylar leader, descended from above with his 4 muscular arms flexing. Each arm ended in sharp clawed fingers that glimmered under the alien sunlight. He was taller than any human by a full head, with scaled skin that shimmered like molten metal. His eyes burned with intelligence and hatred, and his voice, though guttural, carried the authority of a ruler who had never lost.
"You dare to stand here, human?"
Thyrex's voice resonated across the platform.
"You have destroyed my armies, my cities,
and yet, you think you can face me alone?" Aaron adjusted his stance, gripping the handle of his plasma blade. He had faced countless soldiers, drones, and war machines, but none of them were like Thyrex. This was not just a fight of strength. It was a battle of wits. He knew that brute force alone would not win this duel. "I'm not here to fight like your soldiers," Aaron replied steadily. "I'm here to end this war, and I plan to do it smartly." Thyrex let out a low, rumbling laugh. "Smartly? Against me? You are nothing but a fragile creature, a mistake in the galaxy's design."
"You are unworthy to touch me." Aaron narrowed his eyes, recalling the countless simulations and strategies his team had devised.
The Xylar were proud, overconfident, and ritualistic. They relied heavily on traditions and protocols, something a human mind could exploit. He circled slowly, watching Thyrex's stance, analyzing every twitch, every shift of weight. Thyrex's arms lashed forward in a blur, aiming to crush Aaron with sheer strength. The human leapt back, rolling across the platform, his mind racing. He activated his plasma blade, a glowing blue weapon designed to cut through Xylar armor. Sparks flew as Thyrex's claws met the edge of the blade, the force sending vibrations up Aaron's arm.
"You rely on gadgets?" Thyrex snarled. "Your mind is weak."
"Your body is weak. You are fragile." Aaron smirked. "But humans survive, because we think differently." He darted to the side as Thyrex swung the massive arm in a wide arc. Using a nearby support beam, Aaron vaulted into the air, landing behind Thyrex. The Xylar leader twisted, trying to anticipate the human's movement, but Aaron had calculated his trajectory perfectly. With a precise strike, he grazed Thyrex's side with the plasma blade, leaving a shallow but burning wound.
Thyrex growled in fury.
"Insignificant!" He lashed with 2 arms, then another. 2, creating a whirlwind of attacks that could crush a human in seconds. Aaron dodged and rolled, relying on his agility and instincts. Every move was calculated. Every step was part of a larger plan. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Sweat poured down Aaron's face and his muscles screamed in protest, but he stayed focused. He baited Thyrex, forcing the leader to overextend, to expose openings. Then, in a moment of pure precision, he triggered the final trap. A hidden device on his belt emitted a high-frequency pulse that disrupted the Xylar's neural sensors, temporarily blinding Thyrex. Aaron seized the moment. With all his strength and timing, he lunged forward, striking the leader's chest with a powerful directed strike from the plasma blade. Thyrex staggered back, clawed hands gripping the wound, eyes wide with disbelief. For the first time, the great Xylar leader faced defeat. The platform went silent, save for the low hum of the alien city below. Thyrex fell to his knees, breathing heavily. Aaron stood over him, chest heaving, adrenaline pumping through every vein. He had done it. Humanity had won. But the celebration Aaron imagined never came. Instead, a group of Xylar elders emerged from the shadows. They were smaller than Thyrex, but carried an aura of authority. Their faces were expressionless, but their eyes burned with curiosity and judgment. "You have defeated our leader," one of them said in a voice both commanding and strange. "But victory alone does not grant freedom. You are now bound by Xylar law." "Bound? What do you mean?" The elder stepped closer. In Xylar tradition, the one who defeats the leader must honor his family. Refusal is considered an act of war, an insult that could ignite conflict across generations. The leader has 3 wives. You are now obligated to take them. Aaron blinked. He had fought wars, negotiated treaties, and faced death countless times, but this was something entirely unexpected. "Take them, marry them." "Yes," another elder said. "It is our law. You will assume the responsibilities of the leader in accordance with Xylar custom." "This is not optional." Aaron's mind raced. He glanced back at Thyrex, who now seemed more resigned than angry. The thought of being bound to alien traditions, to marriages he did not understand, was absurd. And yet the elders were serious. Their customs were deeply rooted in law and ritual, far stronger than any military threat. I don't even know your culture," Aaron said. "I'm a human." "I don't." "You will learn," the elder interrupted. "To refuse is to bring war upon your people. To accept is to honor our pact and bring peace." Aaron took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. He thought of Earth, of the people who had fought alongside him, who had counted on him to survive. He realized that this strange and unexpected law was not just a formality. It was a chance to secure lasting peace between humanity and the Xylar. "I accept," he said finally, his voice steady. "Not because I understand, but because it is the right thing to do. Humanity will not start another war if it can be avoided." The elders nodded, seemingly satisfied. Thyrex, despite his injury, let out a low guttural sound, a sound that Aaron guessed was the Xylar version of a sigh. "You will meet them soon," the elders said. 3 wives, 3 responsibilities, 3 tests of character. Aaron felt a mix of apprehension and curiosity. What would these women be like? Would they see him as an invader or a savior? Would they respect him or despise him? He had faced armies, monsters, and political intrigue, but he had never faced something like this. As the sun dipped lower in the alien sky, casting long, twisting shadows across the city, Aaron realized that his journey was far from over. Victory in battle had been only the first step. Now came the challenge of diplomacy, understanding, and survival in a world utterly alien to him. He turned his gaze toward the horizon, where the alien palace awaited. Towering spires reached into the violet sky, filled with secrets, dangers, and new beginnings. A deep sense of resolve settled in his chest. He had survived impossible odds before. He would survive this, too. And perhaps, he thought with a hint of humor, humanity might just prove itself capable of navigating the strangest customs in the galaxy, even if it involved marrying alien royalty. The platform trembled slightly beneath his boots as he walked toward the palace gates. Guards and attendants moved aside, watching in silence. Aaron could feel the eyes of the city upon him, sensing the tension, the unprecedented human victory, and the delicate balance that now rested on his shoulders. Every step felt heavier than the last, yet with each step, Aaron felt more certain. Humans were clever, adaptable, and determined. If he could navigate Xylar law and earn the trust of their people, he might not just survive, he could thrive. And perhaps, just perhaps, he could teach the Xylar a thing or two about humanity. The palace doors loomed ahead, immense and adorned with symbols he could not yet understand. He took a deep breath and stepped inside, ready to meet the 3 women who would change his life forever. The elder's words echoed in his mind. 3 wives, 3 responsibilities, 3 tests of character. Aaron knew that whatever came next, humanity had already proven something extraordinary. Against impossible odds, humans survived, humans adapted, and humans conquered. The real challenge had only just begun. Aaron stepped deeper into the palace, his boots echoing on the polished floor. The walls were smooth, almost liquid in their reflection, and light shimmered strangely, bouncing off the surfaces in colors that had no names in any human language. He felt as though he had entered another world entirely, one where every detail was designed to impress, intimidate, and overwhelm. He was led through corridors lined with massive crystalline statues of the Xylar ancestors, their forearms frozen in poses of battle, wisdom, and authority. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something floral he could not identify. He followed the attendant silently, trying to remain calm, though his mind raced with questions. How would he meet the wives? Would they accept him? Would they even like humans? Finally, he reached a wide chamber at the heart of the palace. 3 figures waited there, seated on elevated platforms that rose slightly above the floor. They were striking, and yet each seemed to embody a different presence. The first, Lyra, had sharp, calculating eyes. She exuded authority, and her posture suggested she was used to commanding armies. Her armor-like attire hinted that she was a warrior at heart, and she studied Aaron with a critical gaze. "So this is the human who defeated Thyrex," she said, her voice low but firm. "I will not waste my time with theatrics. Show me your mind, human. Show me why you are worthy." Aaron nodded cautiously. "I did what I had to do. I survived and I ended the war. That is proof enough of my worth, at least to my people." Lyra's lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. "Perhaps, but war is only one measure. Strategy, leadership, and understanding. These are what matter here. If you cannot prove yourself, then you are unworthy." The second, Sivara, appeared more serene. Her movements were graceful, almost as if she glided rather than walked. Her skin shimmered in soft green tones, and her eyes held a depth that made Aaron feel small. "Strength alone does not make a leader," she said softly. "Wisdom, empathy, and respect for law are what define a true ruler. You have won the battle, Aaron Vale, but can you govern with honor?" Aaron swallowed. Sivara's words were a challenge, but unlike Lyra's sharpness, they felt like a test of his character. He straightened his back. "I will do my best. I may not understand everything at first, but I can learn. That is what humans do." The third wife, Kethra, leaned back casually on her platform, arms crossed, her expression almost amused. Her eyes glittered with curiosity and mischief.
"You are clever, human, or you would not be standing here. But cleverness is not enough."
Survival, courage, and adaptability. These are what Xylar value. Let us see if you have them. Aaron felt a mix of apprehension and fascination. Each wife was different, each testing him in her own way. He realized that navigating this relationship would be far more complex than any battlefield he had ever faced. The elders who had brought him here stepped forward. "Human," one of them said, "you must live with these 3. Learn from them. Respect them. You will each be tested in turn, in ways that challenge your mind, your heart, and your abilities. Only then will you fully understand the responsibilities you have accepted." Aaron nodded again, feeling the enormity of the task before him. He had fought wars, negotiated treaties, and faced unimaginable dangers. But nothing had prepared him for this. The first test began immediately. Lyra led him to a training chamber filled with strange weapons and holographic displays. "You must demonstrate your strategic thinking," she said. "This is a simulation, but failure has consequences. Learn quickly, or you will be deemed unfit." Holographic enemies moved in patterns that mimicked real Xylar battle tactics. He realized that brute force alone would not suffice. Using human logic, improvisation, and a keen eye for patterns, he began directing the simulations, issuing commands, and anticipating moves. Hours passed, sweat streamed down his face, and his muscles ached. But he continued, driven by focus and determination. Lyra watched silently, nodding occasionally, and for the first time, Aaron felt a spark of approval in her gaze. He completed the simulation successfully, not flawlessly, but effectively enough to earn her acknowledgement. "You are competent?" Lyra said finally. "Perhaps there is more to humans than I thought. We shall see if your competence extends beyond war." Next, Sivara took him to the library, a vast chamber containing knowledge of Xylar history, law, and culture. Ancient texts floated in midair, glowing softly with information. Sivara asked Aaron questions about ethics, law, and diplomacy. Could he make decisions that balanced justice with mercy? Could he understand the subtleties of alien culture? Aaron listened carefully, thinking through each question. He spoke honestly, using examples from human history and his own experiences. At times he stumbled, admitting he did not understand something, but he always sought solutions and showed a willingness to learn. Sivara's serene gaze never left him, and when he answered a particularly difficult question about interstellar law, she nodded approvingly. "You show promise," she said. "Humans may be young in the galaxy, but they have the potential to grow. That is what I value." Finally, Kethra brought him to a field outside the palace where the terrain was rugged and treacherous. "Survival is not about following rules or winning battles," she said. "It is about adaptability. If you cannot survive here, you cannot survive anywhere. Show me you can endure, human." The challenge was brutal. The field was filled with traps, shifting platforms, and aggressive wildlife. Aaron had to rely on his instincts, agility, and quick thinking. Several times he nearly fell, narrowly avoiding sharp spikes or leaping over gaping chasms. Kethra followed silently, occasionally offering cryptic advice. By the time he reached the end, his body was exhausted, but his mind was sharp. He had survived not through brute strength alone, but through observation, creativity, and perseverance. Kethra finally smiled, a rare expression for her. "You endure, you adapt." Perhaps humans are more capable than I imagined. That evening, the three wives gathered together in the central hall. Aaron stood before them, feeling the weight of their gazes. He realized that this was not just about tests or survival. It was about earning respect, trust, and understanding. Lyra stepped forward first. "You've proven yourself capable in war."
That is expected.
"But know this, strength without understanding is dangerous. You must continue to learn." Sivara added, "Knowledge and empathy will guide you. Humans are quick learners, but you must remain humble and open." Kethra's eyes glinted as she spoke last. "Adaptability and courage will see you through the hardest times. Remember, the galaxy is vast, and it will challenge you in ways you cannot yet imagine."
Aaron nodded.
"I understand. I will do my best. I will respect your ways, learn from you, and honor the responsibilities I have accepted. Not just because it is the law, but because it is the right thing to do." For the first time since arriving on Xylar, he felt a strange sense of connection. These women were formidable, intelligent, and independent. They were not trophies or prizes. They were equals, guides, and teachers in a world that was still foreign to him. As the night settled over the palace, Aaron could hear the distant hum of the city and the faint calls of alien creatures. He thought of Earth, of the humans who had fought and died for this moment. He thought of the journey that lay ahead, filled with challenges, responsibilities, and the uncharted territories of Xylar culture. Yet despite the uncertainty, Aaron felt a spark of excitement. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, and had survived. Perhaps now, humanity could do more than survive. Perhaps they could thrive, even among the stars, even in the most alien of circumstances. The three wives watched him from their platforms, silent and observant. Each had her own thoughts, her own judgments, and her own hopes. Aaron knew that building trust would take time, patience, and courage. But he also knew that humans had something unique: resilience, creativity, and an unyielding spirit. And as he lay down to rest that night, Aaron realized that the real adventure was only beginning. 3 wives, 3 tests, and a galaxy full of challenges awaited him. Every choice he made, every lesson he learned, would shape not only his destiny, but the future of human-Xylar relations. Aaron closed his eyes, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also a strange sense of possibility. Humanity had reached the stars, defeated enemies, and survived against all odds. Now it was time to learn, adapt, and prove that humans could thrive in a world that seemed entirely alien. The palace hummed with life around him, and Aaron knew one thing for certain: the galaxy would never forget the human who dared to defeat a Xylar leader, and who now had 3 wives, 3 challenges, and a future full of unimaginable adventures. Aaron awoke to the faint hum of the palace, the alien sunlight spilling through crystalline windows. The first days with the 3 Xylar wives had been challenging, but also illuminating. Lyra, Sevara, and Kethra had pushed him to learn, adapt, and think differently. He realized that surviving the battlefield was one thing, but surviving in the intricate web of Xylar culture, politics, and expectations was another. The morning began with Lyra's sharp voice echoing in the training chamber. "Aaron, you survived the simulations. That is commendable. But survival is not enough. Leadership requires foresight and decisiveness. Today, we test your judgment under pressure." Aaron nodded. He knew that Lyra's lessons were not mere exercises. They were preparation for real-life challenges he would face as a human, integrated into Xylar society. Lyra led him to a holographic strategy table. The table displayed a map of Xylar territory with enemy forces highlighted in red. "These are rogue factions," she explained. "They do not accept our laws, nor the authority of the ruling family. They believe the human's victory dishonors Xylar tradition. You must propose a solution." Aaron studied the map carefully. The rogue factions controlled key outposts, and a direct attack would cost thousands of lives on both sides. But ignoring them could encourage further rebellion. He considered human tactics combining negotiation, diversion, and precision strikes. "I suggest a 2-pronged approach," Aaron said finally. "We send a small, highly trained force to secure the outposts without major conflict, while we open channels of communication to persuade the factions that cooperation benefits everyone. Violence should be the last resort." Lyra's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Aaron feared he had misjudged her approval. Then she nodded slowly. "Human logic is sound. You think beyond brute force, which is rare. Perhaps there is hope in your kind, after all." After strategy, Sevara led him to the library once more. "You must understand the subtleties of Xylar law," she said. "Not all challenges are physical or strategic. Many are political. Your success depends on your ability to navigate alliances, betrayals, and negotiations." Aaron spent hours poring over texts, learning the hierarchy of Xylar clans, the rules of interstellar diplomacy, and the consequences of missteps. At times, the information was overwhelming, and Sevara's questions were pointed, designed to test his comprehension and judgment. "Consider this scenario," she said, projecting a hologram of a council chamber. "A faction accuses your leadership of violating tradition. How do you respond?" "I would acknowledge their concerns, explain the necessity of our actions, and propose a compromise that respects their customs while maintaining order. Threats or aggression would only escalate the conflict." Sevara smiled faintly. "You understand the principle, but remember, Words are only effective when backed by respect and action. Humans have the ability to adapt quickly. Use it wisely. Kethra, meanwhile, had her own unique lessons. She took him to the rugged outskirts of Xylar territory, where survival was tested in unpredictable ways. Rogue creatures, treacherous terrain, and shifting weather patterns demanded agility and quick thinking. Aaron had to rely on instincts, resourcefulness, and courage, all while Kethra observed silently. At one point, a pack of strange, four-legged predators ambushed them. Aaron improvised, using a combination of traps and evasive maneuvers to drive them away without serious injury. Kethra's rare laugh echoed across the canyon. You survive. You adapt. You think on your feet. Perhaps humans are more than mere invaders. They are clever, resilient, and dangerous in ways I respect. By the end of the day, Aaron was exhausted, but he had gained more than just physical or intellectual skills. He had begun to understand the Xylar mindset, the values that drove them, and the delicate balance of trust, respect, and authority. However, the challenges did not end there. That evening, as Aaron returned to the palace, a messenger approached. "Captain Vale," the messenger said urgently, "there is trouble. A rogue Xylar faction has entered the city, demanding your surrender. They claim the human has dishonored our traditions and threatens the ruling family." Aaron's mind raced. He knew that any misstep could lead to chaos or even war. "How many?" he asked calmly. 50 armed warriors," the messenger replied. "They refuse to negotiate." Aaron nodded, suppressing his fear. He had survived impossible odds before, and this was no different. He moved quickly to the central hall, where the three wives awaited him. Their expressions were calm but serious, revealing that they, too, understood the stakes. Lyra spoke first. "You cannot face them alone. They outnumber you, but we can use strategy and coordination. Your human perspective, combined with our knowledge of the city, can give us an advantage." Sivara added, "We must protect the citizens and maintain order. Violence is inevitable, but precision and planning will minimize harm. Finally, a challenge worthy of your cunning. Let us see how human adaptability fares against true Xylar warriors." Aaron would lead a small strike team to create diversions, guiding the rogue faction into traps designed by Lyra. Sivara would coordinate communications with the city's defenders and citizens to ensure safety. Kethra would engage the rogue warriors directly when necessary, using her combat skills to tip the scales. The night descended, and the city streets were tense with anticipation. Aaron felt a surge of adrenaline, not just from the impending battle, but from the realization that he was no longer just a human soldier. He was part of a complex system, working alongside the three Xylar women who now trusted him as a leader. The rogue faction arrived, shouting demands and wielding weapons. Aaron's team moved swiftly, guiding them toward preset traps while avoiding unnecessary confrontation. Sparks flew, and the air was filled with the sound of clashing weapons and shouted commands. Aaron maneuvered through the chaos, using both human tactics and Xylar insights he had learned from Lyra, Sivara, and Kethra. He anticipated enemy movements, exploited weaknesses, and coordinated the city's defenses with precision. The rogue warriors were skilled, but they were unprepared for the combined strategy of humans and Xylar working together. At one point, Aaron found himself cornered by two rogue fighters. He ducked, rolled, and used a nearby wall to launch himself over them, landing with perfect balance. Kethra intercepted the attackers, her movements fluid and deadly. Lyra's diversions and Sivara's coordination ensured the rest of the faction was trapped and isolated. Within an hour, the rogue faction was subdued. Their leaders were captured, and the remaining warriors fled, humiliated, but alive. The city was safe, and Aaron had proven himself not only as a fighter, but as a strategist, leader, and protector. The three wives approached him as the dust settled. Lyra's eyes reflected approval. You think beyond survival. You protect, you plan, you lead. That is the mark of a true ally. Sivara smiled softly. You have learned quickly. Humans are young in the galaxy, but you show wisdom, courage, and humility. These are the qualities that inspire trust. Kethra grinned, her usual mischievous spark returning. You adapt, you endure, and you surprise. Perhaps humans are not just clever, they are formidable. Aaron exhaled, finally allowing himself a moment of relief. The victory was not just physical, it was symbolic. He had earned respect, demonstrated leadership, and begun to bridge the gap between human and Xylar cultures. That night, as the city slept under the alien stars, Aaron reflected on the lessons he had learned. Survival was important, but trust, understanding, and cooperation were even more crucial. Humanity had survived against impossible odds, and now it was proving that humans could thrive not just on the battlefield, but in the complex web of interstellar politics and relationships. He realized that the journey was far from over. Rogue factions, political intrigue, and cultural challenges would continue to test him. But with Lyra, Sivara, and Kethra by his side, he felt ready to face whatever the galaxy threw at him. And for the first time, Aaron Vale felt a profound sense of belonging, not just as a human, but as a leader, a partner, and a bridge between two worlds. The future was uncertain, filled with dangers and challenges, but it was also filled with possibilities. He knew one thing for certain. Humanity had survived. Humanity had adapted. And humanity had proven that even in the most alien of circumstances, cleverness, courage, and heart could overcome any obstacle. As the palace hummed around him, Aaron closed his eyes, knowing that the next challenges would be even greater, but confident that he and the three Xylar wives were ready to face them together. The galaxy was vast, strange, and unpredictable, but so was humanity, and that was something no alien could ever underestimate. The sun rose over the Xylar capital, spilling light across the crystalline spires, and bathing the city in colors that seemed almost alive. Captain Aaron Vale stood on a balcony overlooking the sprawling metropolis, feeling the weight of responsibility settle heavily on his shoulders. The rogue faction had been dealt with, and the initial trials with the three wives had proven fruitful. But this was only the beginning. To secure lasting peace and prove humanity's worth, he would have to unite two species and earn trust on a scale he had never imagined. Lyra approached him first, her sharp gaze scanning the city below. Aaron, there are still factions outside the capital that resist human influence. If we fail to bring them into the fold, the peace we have achieved will crumble. I know, but we've gained respect. We've proven humans are capable, adaptable, and trustworthy. That's a start. Now we need strategy, diplomacy, and the ability to inspire confidence. Sivara joined them, her calm presence a comforting contrast to Lyra's intensity. True leaders do not rely on fear or brute force. You must show vision, fairness, and the ability to balance competing interests. Only then will they follow. Kethra leaned casually against the balcony railing, her eyes glinting with amusement. And do not forget courage. No one respects a leader who hesitates in the face of danger. Not. Humans may be young, but if you act boldly, they will respect you, even fear you a little. Aaron smiled faintly. Their combined perspectives were shaping his understanding of leadership in a way no human training could have. He was learning to merge human ingenuity with Xylar tradition, a combination that might just save the galaxy. Their first step was to address the remaining factions. Aaron called a council, inviting leaders from across Xylar territory. The room was massive, with platforms rising in tiers, each occupied by a clan elder or commander. The air was thick with tension as they waited for the human who had defeated Thyrex to speak. Aaron took a deep breath. "Leaders of Xylar," he began, his voice steady. I am not your enemy.
I did not come here to rule, to dominate, or to disrespect your customs. I came to end war and bring stability.
Humanity survived by learning, adapting, and respecting the worlds we encounter. That is what I intend to do here as well. Murmurs rippled through the room. Some nodded in agreement while others scowled, clearly skeptical. Aaron continued. We can either continue fighting, wasting lives and resources, or we can work together. I propose a council of humans and Xylar representatives to make decisions for the galaxy's benefit. We will respect traditions, honor law, and ensure no one is harmed unnecessarily. But we must unite, or everything we have built will fall apart. Silence followed his words. Then, slowly, elders began to speak. Lyra and Savara supported him, providing insights and reassurances that bridged human and Xylar perspectives. Kethra added her own blunt honesty, challenging leaders to act courageously rather than cling to old grudges. By the end of the council, a tentative agreement was reached. Humans would act as partners, not conquerors. The factions agreed to cooperate in exchange for recognition of their autonomy and respect for Xylar law. It was not perfect, but it was a start. Aaron knew that words alone were not enough. He had to demonstrate leadership through action. Over the next weeks, he worked tirelessly, coordinating joint efforts between humans and Xylar to rebuild cities damaged by war, train troops in combined tactics, and establish communication networks that spanned planets. Every day brought new challenges, from logistical nightmares to diplomatic disputes. But with the guidance of the three wives, he navigated each obstacle. Lyra taught him advanced military strategy and the importance of precision. Sivara instructed him in law, diplomacy, and cultural nuance. Kethra showed him how to inspire loyalty through courage and shared experience. Together they formed a council that combined human innovation with Xylar tradition, creating a system stronger than either species could have achieved alone. During one particularly tense moment, a message arrived from a distant system. An unknown alien species had detected human presence and Xylar coordination and was moving to investigate. Their fleet was large and potentially hostile. Panic threatened to spread among Xylar leaders who feared another war. Aaron called an emergency meeting with the wives. "We cannot afford to fight blindly," he said. "We must show strength and intelligence. If we act wisely, we can avoid unnecessary conflict and demonstrate that humans and Xylar can coexist peacefully." Lyra suggested a tactical demonstration, a combined fleet maneuver that would show capability without aggression. Sivara recommended opening diplomatic channels to communicate intentions and avoid misunderstanding. Kethra insisted on a visible act of courage. Having humans and Xylar together confront the fleet, not to fight, but to signal unity. Aaron combined their ideas into a bold plan. Using holographic simulations, he coordinated human and Xylar fleets, positioning them to appear larger and more formidable. Simultaneously, messages were sent to the approaching species, explaining that the system was under joint human-Xylar protection, but that peace was desired. When the alien fleet arrived, the display was breathtaking. Ships from two different species moved in perfect synchronization, weapons held in readiness but never fired. Leaders aboard the alien ships observed, wary and intrigued. Aaron and the wives led a delegation to meet them, demonstrating confidence, respect, and clear intent. The negotiation was tense but effective. The alien leaders were impressed by the unity and intelligence displayed. Instead of conflict, an agreement was reached to respect the system and maintain peaceful relations. Humanity and Xylar had proven that cooperation, courage, and strategy could achieve what war alone could not. In the palace, the three wives congratulated Aaron. Lyra's sharp eyes softened slightly. "You have shown that humans are more than survivors."
You are capable leaders. Savara's calm smile reflected genuine warmth.
"You have learned quickly and wisely. Your understanding of law, diplomacy, and morality is impressive." Hethra laughed, her mischievous spark returning. "And you still manage to surprise me. Humans adapt, endure, and sometimes even impress. Xylar warriors. Not bad." Aaron felt a surge of pride. He had faced battles, tests, and the unknown, and had emerged stronger. He had earned respect, not through dominance, but through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. Humanity had proven itself, not just to the Xylar, but to the galaxy. Over the following months, Aaron worked tirelessly with Lyra, Sivara, and Kethra to establish a lasting system of governance. Humans and Xylar shared knowledge, resources, and culture, creating a partnership that promised stability for generations. Aaron also continued to learn from the wives, understanding that leadership was not about control, but about trust, collaboration, and mutual respect. Despite the enormity of responsibility, moments of humor and camaraderie arose. Kethra often challenged him with playful tests of skill. Lyra debated strategy late into the night, and Sivara engaged him in discussions about morality and law that sometimes lasted hours. These interactions forged bonds deeper than any treaty or agreement could achieve. One evening, Aaron stood on the palace balcony with the three wives, watching the twin moons rise over the city. The air was calm, the streets below alive with citizens moving freely and confidently. The human presence had not only survived but thrived, earning admiration and trust. "You have done well, Aaron," Lyra said quietly. "Not because you defeated our leader, but because you proved humans are worthy of trust and respect." Sivara added, "Your willingness to learn, to listen, and to act with integrity has created a foundation for lasting peace." Kethra's eyes sparkled. "And don't forget courage. You faced danger, uncertainty, and skepticism, and you came through. That is why humans are remarkable." Aaron smiled, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. Humanity had reached the stars, faced the unknown, and now stood as a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and adaptability. He had begun as a soldier, but he had grown into a leader, a bridge between species, and a partner in a partnership that could shape the galaxy. As the moons rose high, casting silver light over the palace, Aaron reflected on the journey. From a single duel against a powerful alien leader to forging alliances that spanned worlds, humanity had once again proven itself capable of the impossible. He thought of Earth, of the people who had supported him from afar, and of the countless humans who had survived, adapted, and persevered in the face of impossible odds. They had achieved something extraordinary, a place among the stars, not through conquest alone, but through intelligence, courage, and the ability to earn trust. Aaron turned to the three wives, his partners in this journey. Each had challenged him, taught him, and supported him. Together they had created something remarkable, a bond that united species, cultures, and perspectives. Humanity had not only survived, it had thrived. And in that moment, Aaron Vale understood something profound. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and challenges yet unseen. But with courage, wisdom, and cooperation, humans could meet any obstacle. Humanity had proven itself. Humanity had triumphed. And humanity had earned its place among the stars. The future was uncertain, but Aaron smiled. Whatever came next, he and the three wives would face it together as partners, leaders, and a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of humanity. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a human who had defeated an alien leader, and in doing so had shown that the human spirit was unstoppable, adaptable, and truly remarkable.